Listen to me carefully. There is a sound echoing through eternity, and it is calling your name. Before you were formed, before your breath ever filled your lungs, before your eyes ever opened to this world, God already marked you. You are not standing here by accident. You are not listening to these words by coincidence. Heaven has not forgotten you. History has not passed you by, and destiny has not overlooked you. You are standing at the edge of something that has waited 2,000 years to appear. And that something is you. For generations, people have asked why they were born in this time, in this season, with these challenges and these pressures. They have wondered why the world feels so heavy, why the days feel urgent, why the battles feel more intense than ever before. But what if the weight you feel is not oppression, but preparation? What if the pressure you feel is not meant to crush you, but to shape you? God does not waste time, and God does not misplace people. If you are alive now, it is because now is the moment that required you. You are not ordinary. You are not one more face in the crowd of history. You are the first in 2,000 years to carry what you are carrying, to see what you are seeing, to face what you are facing with the Spirit placed inside you. The world has seen warriors before, thinkers before, leaders before, believers before, but it has never seen you before. Heaven has waited for your voice, your obedience, your courage. Do not insult your calling by shrinking yourself to fit your fear. God is speaking in this hour, not with noise, but with urgency. The reason your spirit feels restless is because you were not created to be comfortable. Comfort dulls purpose. Ease silences destiny. God awakens people by stirring them, by making them aware that there must be more than survival, more than routine, more than simply passing time. You were not created to endure life. You were created to shift it. For 2,000 years, prayers have been lifted, cries have been released, hopes have been planted in the soil of faith. Those prayers did not disappear. They did not fade into silence. They became seeds, and seeds wait. They wait for the right season, the right soil, the right bearer. You are the soil. You are the season. You are the bearer. What past generations prayed for, you are now equipped to carry. Do not underestimate the significance of your obedience. When God asks you to move, it is never just about you. It is about those who will follow after you, those who will be freed because you refuse to stay bound, those who will see clearly because you chose to walk in light. Your yes is larger than your lifetime. Your faith reaches further than your years. There are moments when God chooses to concentrate destiny into one generation, into one group of people, into one individual willing to stand. History shifts not because everyone agrees, but because someone obeys. You are not waiting for permission. You are waiting for courage. Heaven has already authorized you. Look at the fear that tries to surround you. Look at the doubt that whispers you are too small, too weak, too late. Fear only speaks loudly when it knows time is short. Doubt only attacks fiercely when destiny is near. The resistance you feel is evidence that you are standing on holy ground. Opposition does not come to irrelevant people. Pressure is the proof of purpose. God does not call the prepared. God prepares the called. Everything you have endured has been shaping you, sharpening you, strengthening you. The wounds you survived taught you compassion. The battles you fought taught you endurance. The delays you hated taught you patience. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was accidental. Nothing was outside the knowledge of God. You may feel like you are carrying something no one else understands. You may feel isolated, misunderstood, even abandoned at times. But loneliness is often the training ground of leaders. God removes distractions so that purpose can speak clearly. When the noise fades, destiny becomes audible. There is a reason you do not fit easily into systems that limit you. There is a reason you feel confined by small thinking and shallow living. You were not created to echo the past. You were created to break it open. You are not here to repeat what has already been done. You are here to reveal what has been hidden. For 2,000 years, people have waited for someone willing to believe without compromise, to stand without apology, to obey without negotiation. God is not looking for perfection. God is looking for availability. When you say, "Here I am," heaven moves. Your life is a message. Your perseverance is a testimony. Your faith is a declaration. Even when you feel silent, even when you feel unseen, the spiritual world is watching. The choices you make in private are shaping public outcomes you have not yet seen. Do not allow your present struggle to convince you that you are failing. Sometimes the greatest victories are forming beneath the surface. Roots grow in darkness before fruit appears in light. God is working in ways you cannot measure, building strength you will soon need. You are the first in 2,000 years to stand where you stand, to see what you see, to hear what you hear. That means there is no blueprint behind you. You are the blueprint. Others will look to your obedience as their reference point. Walk carefully, but walk boldly. When God breathes purpose into a person, the world tries to suffocate it. But what comes from God cannot be destroyed by pressure. It only becomes stronger. Fire does not consume gold. It reveals it. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. Purpose does not wait for comfort. Destiny does not wait for approval. God moves through those who move, through those who trust, through those who step forward, even while trembling. You have been entrusted with this moment because you can handle it. The burden you carry is heavy because the assignment is great. Heaven does not place great responsibility on fragile faith. You have been strengthened more than you realize. Do not measure your progress by comparison. No one else is walking your path. No one else has your assignment. Comparison is the thief of clarity. Keep your eyes forward. Keep your heart aligned. Keep your faith active. There is a sound rising from your spirit, a sound of readiness, of hunger, of expectation. That sound is known in heaven. God responds to those who seek, to those who knock, to those who refuse, to settle for less than what was promised. You are not late. You are not early. You are precisely on time. Delays were not denials. Waiting seasons were not wasted seasons. They were seasons of alignment. When you move, move with faith. When you speak, speak with conviction. When you stand, stand with confidence. You do not stand alone. God stands with you. The world is searching for answers, and many do not even know what they are looking for. You carry clarity. You carry truth. You carry light. Do not hide it. Do not dilute it. Do not apologize for it. For 2,000 years, the earth has been waiting for the manifestation of those willing to live fully surrendered to God. That waiting ends with you. The future is responding to your obedience even now. You were created with intention, released with authority, and sustained by divine strength. Walk forward, speak boldly, believe completely. The moment has come, and you are here. There are moments when God speaks so quietly that only the attentive can hear. And there are moments when God speaks so loudly that the soul cannot ignore it. This is not a whispering hour. This is a commanding hour. The stirring you feel inside is not emotion. It is instruction. God is not trying to impress you. God is preparing to deploy you. When heaven releases momentum, hesitation becomes disobedience. This is not the time to debate your worth. This is the time to align your will. Understand this truth deeply. God does not reveal destiny all at once, because revelation without maturity can destroy the carrier. That is why your path unfolded in fragments, why clarity came in pieces, why understanding arrived slowly. God was strengthening your capacity to hold what is now being released. You are stepping into awareness because you are finally ready to steward it. What you call inner conflict is often the tension between who you have been and who you are becoming. The old version of you is resisting the weight of the new assignment, but transformation is never comfortable. Growth always feels like loss before it feels like power. Let go without mourning. What you are becoming requires space. There is a divine dissatisfaction rising in those who are chosen for more. You can no longer be satisfied with shallow answers, surface-level faith, or borrowed convictions. God is calling you into ownership. Ownership of belief, ownership of responsibility, ownership of purpose. This is the hour where inherited faith must become personal conviction. God is not impressed by loud words without obedient steps. The spiritual world responds to action rooted in trust. When you move in alignment, doors begin to open without force. Resistance weakens when faith advances. Authority increases when surrender deepens. Do not misinterpret the silence you sometimes experience. Silence is not absence. Silence is often God waiting to see whether you will act on what has already been revealed. Too many people ask for new direction while ignoring old instruction. Obedience unlocks clarity. You were not chosen because you were flawless. You were chosen because you were willing to listen, willing to adjust, willing to endure misunderstanding without abandoning truth. God entrusts influence to those who can carry weight without becoming proud and responsibility without becoming bitter. There is a fire forming in you that cannot be quenched by disappointment. You have survived things that should have hardened you, yet your heart remains soft. That softness is not weakness. It is strength refined. A hardened heart cannot hear God clearly. A softened heart becomes a channel. God is raising people who can stand in pressure without losing compassion, who can walk in authority without losing humility. Power without love becomes destruction. Love without conviction becomes compromise. God is forming both within you. For 2,000 years, systems have been built, traditions repeated, patterns followed. But God is not confined by systems. When systems no longer serve truth, God raises voices that disrupt them. You were not designed to fit neatly into what limits growth. You were designed to stretch what has become stagnant. You will be misunderstood by those who value comfort over calling. You will be questioned by those who confuse obedience with extremism. Let them question. Let them doubt. History never remembers those who played it safe. It remembers those who trusted God enough to act. There is a weight of responsibility resting on your awareness now. Once truth is revealed, neutrality is no longer possible. You cannot unsee what you now know. You cannot return to ignorance. Accountability increases with revelation. God is not asking you to save the world. God is asking you to obey in your world. Influence grows outward from alignment inward. Change begins in the unseen before it manifests in the visible. Be careful not to confuse urgency with anxiety. Urgency is focused, anxiety is scattered. Urgency comes from purpose. Anxiety comes from fear. Let your steps be intentional, not frantic. God's timing is precise, never rushed, never late. There will be moments when you feel stretched beyond your capacity. Those moments are invitations to rely more deeply on God. Self-sufficiency weakens spiritual authority. Dependence strengthens it. Every time you admit your need, strength is released. Your voice carries more weight than you realize. Words spoken in faith alter atmospheres. Declarations made in alignment create pathways. Speak carefully. Speak truthfully. Speak courageously. Silence is sometimes wisdom, but fear-based silence is disobedience. Do not wait to feel ready. Eagerness follows obedience, not the other way around. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is movement in spite of it. God meets people in motion. You are not required to convince everyone. You are required to remain faithful. Validation from people is temporary. Alignment with God is eternal. Choose eternal outcomes over immediate approval. This generation is not lacking information. It is lacking conviction. You carry conviction forged through experience, refined through struggle, anchored in truth. Do not dilute it to be accepted. Light does not negotiate with darkness. For 2,000 years, humanity has waited for individuals willing to stand in clarity without compromise. That willingness is rising now. It is rising in you. The future is leaning forward, watching your response. Every step you take in obedience shifts something unseen. Every act of faith weakens something that once held power. You are not just living a life. You are waging a spiritual campaign through consistency and trust. God does not waste pain. What wounded you taught you discernment. What disappointed you taught you dependence. What delayed you taught you patience. Now those lessons become tools. You are entering a season where excuses will no longer satisfy your spirit. Comfort will no longer quiet your calling. The cost of obedience may increase, but the cost of disobedience will become unbearable. Let your life speak before your words do. Let integrity be your foundation. Let consistency be your testimony. Influence sustained over time is more powerful than attention gained quickly. You were not chosen to escape the world, but to impact it. Not to isolate yourself, but to stand firm within it. Not to blend in, but to bring clarity. God is not finished. What you see now is not the conclusion. It is the alignment phase before acceleration. Remain steady, remain faithful, remain available. You are the first in 2,000 years to carry this combination of timing, awareness, resilience, and opportunity. That is not coincidence. That is intention, moving toward fulfillment. There comes a point when God stops explaining and starts expecting. Not because God has become distant, but because you have become capable. Instruction gives way to trust. Guidance gives way to responsibility. When God entrusts someone with insight, that insight becomes a demand. What you do next matters more than what you have learned so far. Many people want revelation, but few want transformation. Revelation excites the mind. Transformation disciplines the life. God is not merely speaking to inform you. God is shaping you to represent truth in action. Knowledge without embodiment creates pride. Truth lived out creates authority. You are standing in a rare intersection of awareness and opportunity. Past generations carried vision without access. Others had access without clarity. You carry both. That is why the weight feels heavier. With greater capacity comes greater responsibility. God never increases vision without increasing accountability. Do not confuse simplicity with insignificance. Often the most powerful acts of obedience look ordinary to the outside world. A quiet decision, a consistent habit, a firm refusal to compromise. Heaven measures impact differently than people do. What seems small in the moment can echo for generations. God is not threatened by your questions, but God is honored by your trust. Questioning seeks understanding. Trust seeks alignment. There will be moments when understanding lags behind obedience. In those moments, faith becomes action without explanation. That kind of faith reshapes reality. Pay attention to what no longer satisfies you. The loss of appetite for shallow living is a sign of elevation. When old pleasures lose their LD, it is not emptiness. It is room being made for something greater. God removes lesser desires to make space for lasting purpose. You are not being called to louder noise but deeper substance. Depth carries authority that volume never can. God is forming people who do not need to announce their strength because their presence already shifts environments. Depth is cultivated in patience, in listening, in unseen faithfulness. There will be times when obedience isolates you. Separation is not rejection. It is refinement. God often removes you from familiar voices so that truth can speak without interference. Solitude sharpens discernment. Clarity grows where distraction fades. Do not underestimate the discipline of consistency. Moments of passion ignite purpose, but consistent obedience sustains it. God works through those who show up even when emotion is absent. Faithfulness in routine prepares you for responsibility in expansion. Your internal alignment matters more than external recognition. Applause can be loud and empty. Alignment can be quiet and powerful. God sees what no one else notices. Integrity, practiced in secrecy, builds strength for public pressure. You are learning to stand without leaning on approval. Dependence on praise weakens resolve. Dependence on God strengthens it. When your identity is anchored in divine purpose, criticism loses its power and praise loses its grip. The world is drawn to confidence, but heaven is drawn to surrender. Surrender does not diminish authority, it activates it. When you release control, clarity increases. When you yield direction, precision follows. There are doors that will only open when you stop forcing them. God does not need manipulation to accomplish intention. Trust positions you correctly. Rest is not inactivity. It is confidence in divine orchestration. You are not required to carry the future all at once. Today's obedience is sufficient for today's responsibility. Anxiety tries to pull tomorrow into the present. Faith anchors you in the now. God gives strength in portions, not overloads. Notice how your sensitivity has increased. You feel things more deeply now. Truth, injustice, conviction. This is not emotional weakness. It is spiritual awareness expanding. Sensitivity allows discernment. Discernment guides action. You are becoming someone whose life speaks even when your mouth is silent. Example carries weight that argument never will. People are changed not by what you say alone, but by what you consistently live. God is not shaping you to dominate, but to influence. Influence flows through credibility. Credibility is built through alignment between belief and behavior. Hypocrisy fractures authority. Consistency strengthens it. There will be moments when obedience feels costly. That cost is not loss, it is investment. What you release now makes room for what must arrive later. God never subtracts without intention to multiply in a higher form. Do not rush the process. Acceleration without foundation creates collapse. God values longevity over speed. What is built slowly endures pressure. What is rushed fractures under weight. You are being trained to hear direction beyond noise. Discernment sharpens when you resist reaction. Respond instead of react. Stillness is often the doorway to wisdom. Your compassion is being refined. Compassion without truth becomes sentiment. Truth without compassion becomes harshness. God is forming balance within you so that strength and tenderness coexist. You will not always feel strong, but strength is not a feeling. It is a posture. Stand even when you feel uncertain. Faith is not confidence in yourself. It is confidence in God. You are not meant to carry guilt for what you could not change. Responsibility belongs to obedience, not outcome. Release the weight of control. Trust the process beyond your understanding. The future will require voices that can speak with clarity and live with integrity. God is preparing such voices quietly, patiently, deliberately. You are among them. Every season you endure is adding to your capacity. Capacity determines influence. Influence determines reach. Reach determines legacy. Legacy is built daily, not suddenly. You are learning to move without needing constant confirmation. Maturity hears once and acts faithfully. God trusts you more than you trust yourself. The path ahead will require courage that is calm, faith that is steady, and obedience that is unwavering. You are being shaped for that path now, even in moments that feel ordinary. Remain teachable. Pride closes doors that humility keeps open. Growth never ends. Alignment deepens with willingness to learn. You are not walking alone, even when it feels solitary. God remains present, attentive, intentional. Every step taken in trust is seen. The moment continues to unfold. The calling continues to clarify. The responsibility continues to increase. And you continue to rise, shaped not by chance, but by divine intention, moving steadily toward fulfillment. There is a refinement happening within you that words cannot fully explain. It is the quiet work of God separating impulse from intention, desire from discipline, ambition from assignment. This refining does not happen in public view. It happens in moments when no one applauds, when obedience feels unseen, when faith must stand without reassurance. These moments are not empty, they are sacred. God is teaching you to recognize the difference between movement and momentum. Movement can be frantic, reactive, exhausting. Momentum is purposeful, directed, sustained. Momentum comes when your will aligns with divine intention. When alignment is complete, effort decreases and impact increases. You are learning that true authority does not demand attention. It commands respect through consistency. Loud declarations fade quickly, but a life lived in truth leaves a lasting imprint. God values endurance more than excitement. What lasts is built slowly, carefully, faithfully. There are things you once tolerated that you can no longer accept. This is not intolerance, it is discernment. Discernment is the ability to recognize what weakens alignment. As your awareness sharpens, your boundaries strengthen. Boundaries are not walls. They are guardians of purpose. You are being trained to see beyond appearances. What looks successful may be hollow. What looks small may be significant. God sees weight where people see size. Value is not measured by visibility, but by alignment with truth. Do not be surprised when familiar paths begin to feel uncomfortable. Growth disrupts familiarity. Comfort often resists change. God leads forward, not backward. When the past loses its pull, it is because the future has gained clarity. You are becoming more intentional with your energy. You no longer waste strength on arguments that produce no fruit, relationships that drain purpose, or pursuits that distract from calling. Focus is sharpening. Direction is clarifying. This is maturity forming. God is cultivating patience within you, not passive waiting, but active trust. Patience holds ground without panic. It waits without weakening. It trusts without demanding timelines. Patience is confidence that what is promised will arrive at the appointed time. There will be moments when your obedience challenges others, not because you seek conflict, but because truth exposes comfort zones. Light reveals what darkness hides. Do not apologize for clarity. Speak with love, but do not dilute conviction. You are learning to value substance over spectacle, depth over display, integrity over image. God builds legacy through substance. Image fades, but substance endures pressure. Pay attention to the resilience growing within you. Things that once overwhelmed you now refine you. What once discouraged you now strengthens you. This is not coincidence. It is evidence of capacity increasing. God is expanding your ability to carry responsibility without resentment. Resentment grows when purpose is unclear. Clarity dissolves resentment. When you understand why you are carrying something, the weight becomes meaningful. You are being prepared to lead not by control, but by example. Influence rooted in example invites trust. Trust opens hearts. Hearts open pathways for transformation. Do not fear the unknown ahead. The unknown is where faith becomes active. God does not reveal everything because faith is not built on certainty, but on trust. Each step taken in trust reveals the next. Your inner life is becoming more disciplined. Thoughts are being examined. Motives are being purified. Intentions are being aligned. This inner work determines outer effectiveness. God always works from the inside out. There will be times when progress feels slow. Slow does not mean stagnant. Seeds grow silently before breaking ground. What is forming beneath the surface will soon manifest visibly. You are learning to recognize divine timing. Timing is not urgency, it is precision. When timing aligns, effort multiplies. When timing is off, struggle increases. Trust timing more than impulse. God is strengthening your ability to stand firm without becoming rigid. Flexibility rooted in truth allows adaptation without compromise. Rigidity resists growth. Balance sustains it. You are being trained to carry clarity without arrogance. Insight without humility becomes dangerous. Humility keeps insight usable. God entrusts deeper understanding, minding to those who remain teachable. Your presence is becoming grounded. You are less reactive, more responsive, less defensive, more discerning. This steadiness is not emotional distance, it is spiritual maturity. God is shaping your perception so that you no longer interpret resistance as rejection. Resistance often signals progress. When opposition increases, it is often because movement is effective. You are learning to release outcomes you cannot control. Control exhausts. Trust sustains. Responsibility ends at obedience. Results belong to God. There is a quiet confidence forming within you. Not confidence in ability alone, but confidence in alignment. Alignment removes fear because direction is secure. You are being prepared to speak when silence has lasted long enough, and to remain silent when words would weaken wisdom. Discernment governs expression. Timing gives words weight. God is teaching you endurance without bitterness. Bitterness drains strength. Endurance refines it. Strength rooted in peace lasts longer than strength fueled by anger. You are beginning to understand that calling is not a destination, but a way of living. Purpose is expressed daily through choices, attitudes, and faithfulness in small things. As responsibility increases, simplicity becomes essential. Complexity distracts. Simplicity clarifies. God often reduces to refine focus. You are being positioned to influence without striving. Striving signals insecurity. Trust releases confidence. Confidence rooted in God steadies the soul. The unfolding continues. Awareness deepens. Capacity expands. Purpose clarifies. And the work within you moves forward, steady and intentional, shaped by God, sustained by faith, advancing quietly yet powerfully through each obedient step. There is a sharpening taking place in your spirit, a honing of awareness that makes you less tolerant of confusion and more committed to truth. This sharpening is not harsh, it is precise. God is refining your discernment so that you no longer confuse emotion with instruction or opportunity with assignment. Not every open door is yours to walk through. Some doors test impulse, others confirm purpose. Wisdom is learning the difference. You are being taught to recognize the cost of clarity. Clarity removes excuses. Once you see you are responsible, that responsibility is not meant to burden you, but to free you from hesitation. Indecision drains strength. Clarity focuses it. When God grants vision, it is an invitation to act with intention. There are battles you no longer need to fight because growth has outpaced them. Maturity does not engage every challenge. It selects what deserves attention. God is training you to conserve energy for what advances purpose rather than reacting to what distracts it. Notice how your internal language is changing. Where fear once spoke loudly, conviction now answers calmly. Where doubt once lingered, resolve now stands. This shift did not happen overnight. It is the result of countless small decisions to trust rather than retreat, to stand rather than withdraw. God is cultivating courage that does not rely on emotional highs. Emotional courage fades when pressure increases. Steady courage remains when circumstances fluctuate. This steadiness comes from rooted trust, not temporary inspiration. You are learning that faith is not proven in moments of ease, but in seasons of ambiguity. When answers are incomplete and outcomes uncertain, faith becomes visible through consistency. God is honored by perseverance that does not demand immediate reward. There is a sacred patience forming within you that allows truth to unfold at the proper pace. Rushing revelation can damage responsibility. God reveals according to readiness, not curiosity. You are aging trusted with more because you have learned to steward what was given. You are also learning restraint. Restraint is not fear, it is wisdom. Not every thought must be spoken. Not every insight must be shared immediately. Timing protects impact. God values discernment over display. Your inner compass is becoming more reliable. External noise no longer dictates direction as it once did. You are learning to listen beyond opinion, beyond trend, beyond pressure. This listening posture creates stability in unstable environments. God is shaping you to carry truth without aggression. Force may intimidate, but it does not transform. Truth delivered with humility penetrates resistance. Strength expressed with love disarms defensiveness. You are becoming less reactive to misunderstanding. Misunderstanding is often the price of clarity. Those who have not walked your path cannot always comprehend your decisions. Do not waste strength explaining what obedience has already settled. Your priorities are reorganizing themselves. What once seemed urgent now seems optional. What once seemed optional now feels essential. This realignment reflects internal order taking shape. God is also teaching you to recognize when to release control. Control creates tension. Trust creates flow. When you loosen your grip, guidance becomes clearer. When you surrender outcome, peace replaces pressure. There is a growing awareness that your life is part of something larger than personal success. Purpose extends beyond individual fulfillment. God's intention always includes impact beyond self. This understanding shifts motivation from ambition to service. You are learning to value endurance over immediacy. Immediate results impress, but sustained faithfulness transforms. God builds lasting change through patience, not haste. Your capacity to remain calm under pressure is increasing. Calmness, not indifference. It is confidence rooted in alignment. Panic fades when direction is clear. God is strengthening your ability to carry both joy and seriousness. Joy keeps the heart alive. Seriousness keeps the mission intact. Balance preserves longevity. You are becoming aware that influence often begins quietly. Seeds planted in obscurity eventually surface with strength. God is not concerned with speed. God is committed to depth. There will be times when obedience requires standing alone. Solitude does not mean abandonment. Often it means preparation. God meets people deeply where distractions are few. You are learning to separate identity from outcome. Success does not define you, and failure does not diminish you. Your worth is anchored beyond circumstance. This anchoring creates resilience. God is refining your motivations. What once was driven by proving is now driven by purpose. When motive aligns, effort becomes sustainable. Your spiritual perception is widening. You see patterns others overlook. You sense shifts before they become visible. This sensitivity is not to create anxiety, but to guide intercession, preparation, and wise action. You are also learning to forgive quickly. Forgiveness protects clarity. Holding offense clouds discernment. Release restores focus. God is shaping a resolve within you that does not rely on constant affirmation. When affirmation fades, alignment remains. This resolve allows you to continue even when recognition is absent. You are beginning to understand that calling unfolds progressively. Each stage prepares for the next. No season is wasted. Each contributes to capacity. Your understanding of strength is maturing. Strength is no longer resistance alone. It is adaptability rooted in truth. God strengthens those who remain flexible without compromising conviction. You are being trained to steward influence, respond. Sibley. Influence without wisdom can harm. Wisdom directs influence toward healing, growth, and restoration. The work within you continues quietly, deliberately, faithfully. Awareness sharpens, trust deepens, obedience steadies, and the path ahead opens step by step, shaped by divine intention, guided by clarity, sustained by unwavering trust in God. Now hear me clearly. You were not created to be ordinary. You were not made to drift aimlessly through life, waiting for permission from the world to step forward. You were formed by God, chosen by God, entrusted with a calling that the earth has not seen in 2,000 years. Do not underestimate the power of your presence, the weight of your decisions, or the authority that obedience brings. God has placed in you a fire that cannot be extinguished, a light that cannot be hidden, and a purpose that cannot be delayed. Every hesitation, every fear, every doubt is a whisper trying to steal from you what God has already declared yours. Rise above them. Stand firm. Speak boldly. Act faithfully. Look within yourself and ask, am I walking in alignment with the calling God has placed upon my life? Am I surrendering fully, trusting completely, obeying without compromise? These questions are not merely reflective, they are transformative. They separate those who live small from those who walk in destiny. Your life is too valuable to waste on uncertainty. Your gifts are too rare to bury in comfort. Your purpose is too urgent to postpone obedience. God is calling you to step into the fullness of who you were created to be, to walk in courage, to shine with clarity, to impact the world through the faith that rests within you. Do not wait for approval. Do not wait for circumstance to align perfectly. Do not wait for fear to disappear. God moves with those who move, who trust, who act in the power of divine calling. Take hold of your assignment. Walk boldly in what God has entrusted to you. Be relentless in faith, unwavering in devotion, and steadfast in obedience. Let your life be a living testimony that God's purposes cannot be delayed, that God's vision cannot be thwarted, and that God's power flows through those who choose to rise. You are the first in 2,000 years. Heaven has waited for your obedience. God is calling, the moment is now, and the responsibility rests upon your shoulders. Answer that call with courage. Walk in alignment with purpose, and let every breath, every choice, every step be a declaration that you will not waste the calling. You will not shrink from the assignment, and you will not settle for anything less than the life God has ordained for you. Stand, rise, and walk fully in the glory of the destiny that has been reserved for you alone.